I think it really talks to the gradually then suddenly. And this is where Bitcoin is basically a ground up movement until it's not. We're here for the early days. It's effectively a cottage industry Bitcoin, and it's been bootstrapped on a very disagreeable, strong-minded, opinionated minority of less than 0.5% of the world's population, I think, would adopt Bitcoin and actually have that. I actually think it's more like 0.1%. And, basically the plebs have basically supported Bitcoin, dollar cost averaging, saving every day in it, basically supporting it. And that's their focus. And that's been brilliant. The suddenly part comes, I believe, when you have a nation state, major corporation, or a huge entity basically turn around and say at the press of a button, we are now going to adopt that and we're going to put substantial assets into it. And I think, Bitcoin's a relatively small asset class. It's $500 billion. You basically press the button. Well, it's $500 billion, call it 600 billion, roughly, given we've had a 20% bump in the last week. So, you compare that to the bond market, take your pick on what the actual number is, but let's just say it's roughly 300 trillion. Would that be a fair assumption that, the bond market across all bonds, basically about that number?
I'll give you that.
Thank you. What's really interesting to think about this is that the average term of those bonds is basically 5 years. So you've got roughly $60 trillion expiring every year that needs to be refinanced. And to coin a term from Kyle Bass, a rolling loan gathers no loss. That's great, but we're kind of at the part of the movie where basically there are going to be consequences and it's going to be difficult to refinance these loans without other incentives attached to it.